Geeta, I think you're on mute.
Yeah, we can start.
Okay. Hey, Sridhar. Glad you could join. Let's get started. I'll quickly introduce and then we'll go on with our session. I think most of you, I have interacted with personally, so thank you for joining. Quick intro, I'm Anupam. I'm basically an engineer and did my electrical engineering, and now I'm pursuing my master's from MIT. In fact, I took a drop year this year so that I can focus on this technology, which I think is really shaping our world. I hope to get back to my master's starting from next year. Till then, my 100% focus is on this technology. With me, I have Geeta. Geeta, please go ahead and introduce.
Yeah, thank you, Anupam, for giving me this opportunity. So hi everyone. I'm Geeta Khatri. I'm very pleased to be one of the co-organization of today's exciting webinar on stream intelligence with SAP. I'm currently working as a data analyst at EcoServity company, where I focus on the analysis and delivering data insights, especially related to SAP solutions. We are happy to inform you that Anupam, an expert in this domain, he will join in the further session and will share deep insight into this topic. If you have any questions during the webinar, please feel free to send in the chat box and we'll review them after the session, or Anupam will answer it up in a Q&A session, or if we have time, then we can. Okay, thank you. Anupam, now you can start.
Sure. I think you've launched a poll. Today, what does your business want from analytics, AI, and automation? Should be a quick question. It will really help us shape the session to your needs. I would appreciate if you can give an input. I'm entering mine. We'll take one more minute. Shikhar, what would you or your customers, I know your organization is very active on AI space. What would they want? Pawan, welcome. Thanks for joining. All right, let's see the results. Geeta? Hey, Divario. I'm glad you could join.
Improvement in productivity, business, time with intelligence, measurable
Can you share the
improvement.
screen? Can you share your screen? Let's see what's the improvement in productivity. I got time with intelligent and measurable improvement. I like it. All right, so let's get going. I'll initially start with one of the. Either you can stop sharing. One of the users who they were themselves helping other organizations, much like me and you, to become more data driven and intelligent, especially with SAP. And we all have faced some of the challenges with SAP. Her name is Claire. Unfortunately, she's traveling to Australia, so she could not make it for the session, but she was good enough to share a video reference. I will share that, and then we'll go on to another user who really has seen the changes that can come in with this. So I'll share screen.
Deloop is a customer engagement platform which is currently focused on providing services to e-commerce companies. Our platform is already integrated with Shopify and WooCommerce. However, recently we were approached by a large enterprise-size online retailer who utilises SAP for their back-end. Now, the company wanted to not only use Deloop's features, but wanted to also integrate it with supply chain and procurement data. We've previously worked with EcoServity where we needed specialists in large data handling, and we knew that they'd launched a new product that was fast to deliver real-time insights from back-end fulfillment systems for SAP. So over the period of just 10 days, our team worked with EcoServity to integrate their no-code API and produce a fast-tracked proof of concept where our client could see how simply this seemingly complex task could be executed. And the resulting solution was agile and customer-centric, providing deep supply chain insights, including customer data, quotes and orders. And we felt comfortable that it came with the security of an SAP certified approach. We had previously been advised by other consultants that this would be a complicated, expensive and very long-term project. But by utilising EcoServity's tool, we were able to convince our client that this was a better option than the conventional legacy approach. We saved time, we saved money, effort, and we built confidence with the client. We highly recommend EcoServity for a project of this nature.
All right. So they felt the difference. Now I'll hand over to Sriram, who's a good friend, as well as he's been, has seen some of these pains. So Sriram, are you able to speak?
Hey, can you hear me?
Yes. Go ahead.
Hi, everyone. I saw this problem, what Clara was mentioned, also as for one of my CPG customers. Their operation teams were spending hours every day downloading data with respect to contracts, order deliveries, goods issues, billing documents, lot of things. And then they would amalgamate everything in Excel files, and then have to manually reconcile things in looking at SAP and other reporting systems. They ran credit checks. They used to have inventory, ATP, transport availability, a lot of things that they would be doing, and all this while their distributors and the customers were waiting. And this is a real problem because it affects the customer expectations. Like, we all, are so used to having a seamless experience from Amazon, where in a typical enterprise world, there is a lot of back and forth that happens, and poor operators are burdened with these things to do. And then the company made a shift and implemented the stream intelligence from EcoServity. This totally transformed when the operators went from juggling the spreadsheets into a single place where all the data started coming in real time. What's important to know is this is not the streaming of this data from different SAP tables, but now we had the semantic model that was already present in this ERP systems to take action. That was transformational, because to me, the best part of this was the same operators were moving orders faster, cutting down inventory, waiting time for this, delivering true value to the customers with confidence. So I believe the paradigm shift is less about the technology, but more about transforming people who could work with full potential and serve the customers better. So my approach to this is more on outcome-based things, and this is just stream intelligence helps you to get there.
Thanks, Sriram. I think if I was to share, this is what I have seen after organizations spend millions of dollars and many years to implement, data warehouses and analytic systems. Their operations team, order fulfillment, procurement, credit management, they are running in these different Excels. So this is one of the examples which I have from a user who had contracts, they were chasing orders, they had block orders. All of this is they are going in at 5:30 a.m. in the morning, running a report in SAP, downloading this into Excel. And through the workflow of order to cash or procure to pay or asset maintenance, they are trying to juggle a lot of these tasks and figuring out credit management, who gets credit, who doesn't, the inventory allocation, which orders we can ship today versus tomorrow. To me, that looked painful. And when I checked with Microsoft and SAP, both of them didn't have a reasonable way for solving this pain. So our approach is something which is slightly different from what you would have normally seen. We really want to solve this at an operator's level, how they can get the information in time and get their work done without these kind of challenges. All right, any questions, comments? Have we experienced any of these issues firsthand at our organizations or customer organizations? I think we can put our suggestions in the chat if anyone has, or any experiences they want to share. So I think that can go on. I'll quickly go through, what's the big change which we see currently going on in the market and why we think a shift is needed. You might have noticed, somewhere around November 2022, we all felt a shift in our work as well as private lives. This is something which has been building up for years. It started in 2001 with on-demand software. The second wave was on-demand hardware, which we also know as cloud. The third wave, which is expected to last till at least 2030, it's on-demand intelligence, the generative AI wave, or the AI wave, as we call it. Those who know this secret, they have been able to grow fantastically and get market share. If you notice, Amazon has taken over and grown 6,300% in last 2 decades. Unfortunately, not everyone did. Around 75% of the S&P companies, big names like Kodak, Sears, Blockbuster, they went away. And if you ask what's the secret, they basically over the years they have focused on giving people in operations with stream intelligence. That's the superpower which I have seen across the leading organizations, and that's one thing which I felt is difficult to do for 87% of world GDP which runs on SAP. It has been a challenge, and that's one thing which we want to solve over the next few years. All right, that's the secret I wanted to share. That I did promise a demo, so if it's okay, let's get on to the demo part where I'll show how we can solve some of these challenges for the business users. Before I do that, Geeta, do we have any questions or poll or?
Yeah, we have one. Yeah. Okay, let's answer the time. You can see that Paul Anupam?
Yes, I can see.
Okay. Okay.
I see some 4 stars. Good. I think people have worked on the overall experience to match with Amazon. And especially for manufacturing and retail, really the challenge to solve is how do they beat someone like Amazon who's known for streaming. They converted all the shops and warehouses into e-commerce giant. All right, let me go ahead and start the demo part. I'll share screen. I have to. Are you guys able to see my screen?
Yeah, Anupam.
Okay. All right. So I wanted to quickly show you basically 2 parts. One is how can I get these charts into ChatGPT like impactful dashboards. So second. I'm sharing the first one. So this is one of the dashboards which we have working with SAP. The first initial one is we have data coming from contracts V885 in SAP. So this is something which is pretty usual. What we have here is insights generated from this data on a streaming model, which no one has coded for. All of these insights are the ones which the intelligent agent is looking at and suggesting based on what changes. What's my top selling material, potential stockouts if the material is selling very fast, over dependence on top customers. How do we turn our charts into ChatGPT like insights and actions? That's one. And then the other one which I wanted to share is getting the insights is great, but how do we get my operations to act on them in time, right? So again, this is streaming from your SAP, and this is the sales orders. I can get all kinds of information from this, and we have anomalies and AI-based insights. One thing which you will see is lacking in most analytics platform is the operator level people. They're not trying to analyze data. They are focused on two things. What do I need to act upon? And once this action is done, what's my next best action? So let's say, from this order list streaming from SAP, he identifies something which he needs to act upon. He doesn't have to do all that. He launches this simple action link and boom, it launches him directly to SAP, not only to SAP, but to the sales order screen so that they can take action then and there. Now, how do we build this? I think most of you do come from some analytics background, so I'll share the journey. You're able to see the steps, right? And I'll paste the link for the video guide, which I am going to follow so that you can do, and then, I hope we'll have time for some hands-on as well. So I'm just picking up. Give me 1 second. In the meanwhile, paste the link to the video for getting the large files.
Sure. I'll share.
So this is the video guide for my hands-on. Let me paste it in the chat. Okay, so let's open share. So this is your standard Power BI template. What I'm going to do is to, let's say, pick up the 25. And use this report to get my data. And what I'm doing is basically getting multiple reports from SAP into my Power BI. Let's say the second one is T001 table, which is the plants table. And then I'm also going to fetch a view. KT. That's the view, and then I'll get, let's say, law That's the material documents report from SAP, and we'll use the same. And then I'll also pull data from a T code, which is 60 with the variant. Again, you can change any of this. I'm just going to use this data. So 5 different objects from SAP I'll pull, and also a few tables or a view and a T code, so that we can do our analysis. You can do a lot of other things. You can pull business names, technical names, different formats, etc. But let's just go ahead with this. So one thing you notice here, this is something which is interesting. If it is asking me to authenticate, it is doing 2 things. Basically, this is my SAP user ID and password which I have to use. Why this is important is not only it authenticates me, but also checks my authorization. What I noticed is people are dumping information on the cloud, and then the authorization which you have, let's say I can see data for US, but not for company code in Europe, that authorization settings are gone. So to our mind, that's an important factor for users. So that's one thing which we have inbuilt as security, where we respect SAP's authorizations. So there is an error, and if I go and see the parameters, where are we getting the error? So there is an error, but basically, you will get your data into your Power BI tables and be able to add to it. If you want to see how this data looks like, we have a template here for sales. And I think there's a video which I probably have made some error on the data entry. But basically, once we get this data, each of these tables have the data from your SAP reports, okay? And you could then do your cross objects modeling within this data and be able to, do whatever analytics automation you want to build, including AI. I will share a template, and I also wanted to share one hands-on which you can do yourself during the session or after the session. We'll share the user ID and password which we can use. Geeta, can you share that template?
Yeah, I'm sure. I shared it.
Okay. If you will need a Windows machine because Power BI works with Windows. By the way, I did want to share what Microsoft recommends for integrating data from SAP. So just put this in the chat. So this is Microsoft architecture community document for integrating live as well as cache data from SAP. Hey Devraj, glad you could join. So there is this template and then there's a video guide. Share that also. If you have been able to download, you can follow this video guide to fetch one simple report. You can just use the RM07 docs, which is MB51 in SAP, to download the stuff. Let's go ahead and open up for if any of the users, they want any help or they have questions, we can work with you for your hands-on. So people, I'll go ahead and unmute. I've unmuted everyone. Any questions, comments?
Yeah, so Anupam, I just joined, right? So how do I get a link to download or whatever is said in starting, because I missed that?
Oh,
you can paste the links.
Yeah. Geeta, can you paste the link once again for the template?
Yeah, Anupam, I can.
And once you get to your screen, you will be asked for user ID and password.
Anupam, can I share ID password?
Yeah, you go ahead and share the user ID and password. This user ID and password will be, okay, there's one thing which we need to do. Yeah, go ahead and share. It will be available for you during the session, and if you need, we can extend the access later on.
Okay.
Save. While you do this, I think I figured out what's the issue. I was giving one parameter only, but let people go ahead and finish that. While you do yours, I'll just share my screen. So we start with the template. Is my screen visible to everyone?
Yeah, no problem. It's visible.
Okay, all right, okay. So the mistake I was making is so the parameters which I needed to use. Phase document view. I gave the wrong variant. Reference. Table is E001 W B underscore mana KT and then report is this, and T code is MM60 with 1. So earlier I was mistyping. I was, USB 1 for SAP. These are the report variants which are set up on the SAP side. So it's, it has to, we have to use one of those. When I do this, now it is running these on a streaming basis from SAP and getting this data live. So if you wanted to check any of the data, you will be able to see the sales document. This is the plants table, all of the underlying data, and still, it goes ahead and formulates the URL which you need to use to launch back to SAP. There is a video for this also. I'll share that. This is the video guide. So I'll share that also. Do you have the template now? Was anyone able to get data? Everyone's on mute. you need to unmute people, or they are
No.
muted from their side?
Yeah, I'm just trying to import that template, right? It's in my PowerBI. It's having some issues.
Okay.
Eventually get there. I'll get there eventually, but yeah.
Okay. So yeah, I think you can try. We'll probably leave the session open, but I do want to hear. First of all, thanks, Devraj, Shekhar. I know, Devraj, you're somewhere in London, right?
Yes.
Okay, yeah. So it's late for you. Appreciate you joining. I keep hearing two things. One is there's all the businesses, they need more and more AI, more and more analytics, and there's 50,000 solutions out there. But still, the business is not satisfied with the existing set of solutions. What would you say is the gap?
So, I mean, if you ask me, the gap I think is the SAP group doesn't know enough about Power Apps, and the Power Group doesn't know enough about SAP. That I think is the first gap. Two is the data analytics team is not the SAP team anymore. It was, but not anymore. So as long as it is BW and BODS and business objects, it was all in SAP domain. But with the data lake concept coming in, it's more and more enterprise data that holds that. And for them, doing something on a data lake is there, and SAP is just one of the source systems, and they have so many others. They have Oracles, and they've got Microsoft Dynamics, and they've got so many other things like Salesforce and ServiceNow to deal with, that SAP just becomes one more data source. So all they want is extract data of SAP, dump it into data lake, and leave us alone, and we'll do whatever we want, right? The reason why people are not happy is because they're not getting what they want. Because if the business wants a report, it goes to IT. IT takes ages to build a report. The business wants to do self-service BI, but they cannot do the self-service BI because the HANA views are not ready for them to consume. And for the IT to create the HANA views and give them takes ages.
That's a good point. Yeah.
So that I think is the biggest point. And then everyone confused everybody by saying, okay, this is what it is. You have a data lake, and you've got this. You've got you can use Fabric. You can use this. You have Databricks. You have snowflakes. So everyone's confused, and everyone has not one but multiple lakes to deal with, right? And as soon as you start copying data, you're lost.
I love that statement, actually. Copies of data. Devraj, you're a SAP guy. I've been doing SAP for 20 plus years. SAP, when they started in 1971, the founders said three things, for their principles. One is standard, second is integrated, and third one was it will be real time. They replaced batch. And that's why, 87% of world's GDP runs on SAP. Somehow along the way, with BW and analytics and etc., everyone started making too much money with copies of data. And that real time is, everyone talks about it, but no one does it. Even today, with the latest BDC or whatever you call, or Databricks or Snowflake, everyone is first saying, copy the data into a data lake, data warehouse, database, and then the magic will start. I love the statement you made about the problem being, there are tons of problems, but the main problem being copies of data.
Yeah.
And would you disagree with me if you don't see it that way? But to me, how SAP changed the mainframes, or how Amazon changed from physical shops to e-commerce, or how ChatGPT changed from Google search to now insights, is streaming. The underlying power is ability of an organization to stream. Unfortunately for SAP organizations, it has not been easy. And that is where Amazon is taking away businesses who run on traditional ERP and supply chain systems.
Yeah.
Would you agree, or is that? Would you?
No, I agree to a large extent, right? That the customers need to adapt to what the world needs now. And doing streaming, the only option you think, oh, you want to stream, you need to go to S4. S4 is a 3 to 5 year project, costs $1 billion, right? Not something that you can start today and be ready tomorrow. But why? You can stream in ECC. Nobody knows about it, but you can. Nobody does it, but you can do it if you want to. So I think that being one, and two is there's a lot of customers who are using Power BI with SAP ECC. The biggest challenge is I'm not on HANA. How do I do it? I'm on HANA, but I do not have the rights on the HANA database. How do it? Those become the plumbing layer that becomes a problem with every step, right? And and the customers who are on BW are stuck. Okay, I'm on BW. What do I do? Do I go to BW for HANA? Do I go to BW on HANA? Do I go to DataSphere? Do I use data intelligence? Do I use BDC? Do I use BDC today? Do I go to S4HANA first and go to BDC second? That is engulfing them rather than solving the problem head on, right? Solve the problem now rather than and get the data working in whichever form it is, in whichever system it is, so that the business can actually consume the data and run reports. That's not happening. Because you're really struggling to figure out how to move to the next platform because you think the next platform is going to solve world hunger.
Yeah. And the second thing which you touched upon, I think a lot of traditional analytics is built on copying the tables, where specifically with SAP, that fails. People buy SAP not because they have tables, but because they have ready-to-use semantic models, your purchase order, your sales orders, your financial documents. Getting access to those, I was surprised. One of the customers, they tried to extract one report, just one report. For 11 months, they had SAP, Microsoft, Databricks sitting there for 11 months. And what they figured out is for that one report, SAP was extracting data from 212 different tables and then writing all the business logic. Where it fails is not with the tables extraction, although that is also difficult for a lot of these solutions. Where it fails actually is reverse engineering the logic which SAP has written over 50 plus years. And that's why people buy SAP. And that's where the traditional will copy and extract the data from tables fails.
Yeah. And that's one of the reasons why BW became so popular, because it solved that problem, right? BW basically solved the problem, therefore it was great. But then because BW for HANA and BW on HANA did not deliver what it's supposed to deliver, and because it's so expensive, and AWS and Azure data lakes were so cheap, people started moving, not knowing what they're getting into.
Good. I think I really appreciate you sharing that point of view. I think, there's traditional way, there's nothing wrong. People have their data warehouses and they'll copy tables. That's the old way. The modern way would be, how can I get my data from semantic models? That's today's world. But even more impactful is the future way, where AI and LLM agents will just power the user. They will type in English, get my sales order summary and what do I need to do today, and then it figures out through APIs, what do I need to call, which report from SAP I need to bring, and get him his to-do list, right, for that day. That is something which, I have seen very few organizations still talking about. That's where your MCP and a semantic catalog driven by APIs is just very powerful.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I completely agree with you. That's a problem, especially for SAP users. it has been a challenge. It still is a challenge. And from what I see, DataSphere is still copies of data, and you still have to do a lot of engineering with CDS views before you can get something semantic meaningfully out of it.
Yeah.
Rajshekhar, or anyone else who wants to share? Any suggestions about what would you like to see in the future in our solution? I promise we'll not do any sales pitch. So I'm not even going to talk about our solutions. I did share in the chat though what Microsoft and SAP recommend to integrate, but this is not about Microsoft or SAP. This is about, I guess, improving the lives of all the supply chain people who are under tremendous stress right now. Is there something else which you have seen or you would like to see in these solutions? Aaron? Thiru, if you have any suggestions, this is a good time. All right. If there's none, let's go ahead. Aaron, were you going to say something? Sorry, I didn't mean to.
I'm good for now, AJ.
Okay, thank you. Thanks. All right, cool. This was great. If you have any questions, suggestions, if you run into any issues with the template, let me or Geeta know. We'll try to help you out. We want to get this streaming intelligence more and more, especially for supply chain, which are currently struggling. And if you find someone who will be able to use this solution and relieve the pain, we are happy to talk to them. All right, the final ask is, how would you rate the session? I'll rate myself as less than 5. We had a technical glitch during the demo, but please go ahead and share what you would like to see, and how would you want these sessions to be done. Cool. I think people are rating more above what I did myself. So thank you for bearing with the glitch. It's my lack of typing experience. Awesome. We'll share the recording. You have the template. If there's any question, comment, you run into an issue, do reach out. Your access will be active for next 1 hour or so. But if you need extended access, absolutely go ahead and tell us. All right. Thank you so much for joining.
Thank you so much. Yeah. Thank you, everyone.
Thanks.
Yeah, thanks. Bye-bye.
Thanks for joining.
Thank you.
Okay, bye.